Time to duel! Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki Man, Sai. Alrighty, Arne Slot is more or less confirmed to be the next Liverpool head coach, not manager. You heard me right. But he's got a big job on his hand to raise the morale and confidence of his Liverpool squad, who are faltering a bit in the final glorious chapter of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool tenure. However, there's many things that Arne Slot needs to do in the summer to make sure that his appointment goes well. Let's get into it. So the 4 key components I believe Arne Slot has to prioritise in order to get this Liverpool role correct is the fact that he has to determine the futures of the key players whose contracts are running out, as well as those who he wishes to renew and those he wishes to sell. Additionally, what formations and tactics is he going to play? Now, I think a lot of channels have taken for granted the fact that you don't have to play the same formation that you've always played. You're not so limited as a manager that you can only play one way, right? For example, Xabi Alonso, he played 4-3-3 in the Real Madrid youth teams. He played 4-3-3 with Real Sociedad. He now plays 3-4-2-1 with Bayer Leverkusen. It's about personnel, what you're trying to do, matching up against the opposition. You might even find different tactical ploys against different particular opposition. Europe, League, Minnows, a wet night at Burnley. Not next season. And alongside that train of thought, one big conundrum is what to do with that enigma, Trent Alexander Arnold, one of the best playmakers in the world, one of the most productive players in the world from right back, who's been roaming a lot this season. Do you keep him at right back? Do you allow him to invert? Do you start him defensive midfield? Do you start him right side number 8? We'll get into that as well. And then finally, we're going to look at the transfers. What kind of player that Arne Slot will propose to Michael Edwards, to Richard Hughes, to bring in to suit his formation, to suit his requirements, his needs for this season. I'm sure there's going to be an overhaul of some playing staff, some ins, some outs, and we're going to need enough about us in the whole squad to compete on all 4 fronts. Let's get into it. But just before we do, I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel. It's almost 6 months now. Not only is it 6 months since the start of this Liverpool Fan in Japan channel, our studio, our new house is almost ready as well. We get the keys on the 1st of May, but we can't actually move in until the 16th. Alongside that, I'm going to be doing a little project. So this Wataru Endo book, I've had many DMs around this, Duel. So I've got to work my way through this. I'm going to try and translate it as I go along. But also to those dedicated members who are helping support the channel as well, I'm going to go through some summaries of the chapters, tell you what's interesting, tell you what Endo-san talks about. Emperor Endo is one of our most prominent figures this season. He's really helped us early parts of the season, especially that partnership with McAllister. Oh my, love it. So I will be going through this book, and obviously, you know, it's going to take some time. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how you can further support this channel as well, and how to get insight to an exclusive preview of everything this book has to offer. But back to Arne Slot. So let's talk about contract expiry dates and key player contract expiry dates. So this summer, we're probably going to be losing Thiago Alcantara. It's a shame. He never really quite lived up to expectations. Quality player on the day, but just couldn't get onto the pitch enough. And he was really crucial to our successful run. He really stitched things together in terms of keeping our tempo going, holding at left-sided 8 position, being an absolute maestro. Unfortunately, just couldn't get on the pitch long enough. He was a good training buddy of Lucho Diaz in training. My goodness, the techers of M2, absolutely unbelievable. But he will be a departure, and his wages off the book as well. Beautiful highlight reel moments, but just not enough of them, to be honest. So yeah, he can move on with our blessing. Joel Matip as well, absolute stalwart, one of the defining signings of the Jurgen Klopp era. Started the Champions League final, a lanky draft, dashing out of defence, bringing the ball out of defence. Unfortunately with injuries, he's always been injury prone, but a serious injury. I don't know if he can get back up to speed, and then again it'd be a show of faith to keep him on, you know, a kind of rolling contract or pay as you play. Probably deserves better than that. I hear he's been linked to Roma, so we give him best endeavours. Thank you, Joel Matip, as well. And finally, Adrian San Miguel. Now obviously the man, Adrian San Miguel, absolute beauty, divine in the dressing room, keeping the harmony. He really is there for his teammates, giving the support. He can communicate in multiple languages as well. Great character in the dressing room. We needed them as well in the absence of Hendo, Milner, Lallana, etc. Gini Wijnaldum, for example, good smiley chap. Adrian San Miguel most likely move on as well, because that 3rd choice keeper probably goes to Pichilaga eventually. I think he's coming to prominence as well, coming of age. He's quality, has those highlight reel moments. Queeve Kelleher, we don't know if he'll stay around as well. He's quality as well. We'll talk about transfers a bit later on, but my understanding is Joel Matip, Adrian San Miguel, and Thiago Alcantara will probably leave this summer. Who's going to be expiring the summer after? It's going to be Virgil Van Dijk, Trent Alexander Arnold, and Mo Salah. Big key three players, right? Starting with Trent Alexander Arnold, he will definitely renew. He's a Scouser, born and bred Scouser, Liverpool heartbeat, he is vice captain. He will stay for the long run. He just doesn't fit other clubs as well. A legacy maker, a statue in his name. He's got to compete with Andy Robertson. He's got the wingmen buddy system going there. They're going to be fighting for assists until, the end of time, really. I think Robertson's in the lead at the moment. He'll renew. Virgil Van Dijk as well. I think he will renew as well. He's our captain. He'll probably stay as captain under Arne Slot as well. The Dutch connection. He's a trusted figurehead in the back room. He likes to be cool. He's really charismatic. He's popular as well. But you saw the kind of defeated expression at the end of the match. And I really think it's a different flavour to Henderson, who really is the kind of English, vibrant, heart on your sleeve. Van Dijk's more of a lead by example character. He does raise his voice as well, but I think he's too cool for school kind of characters. A different kind of ebb and feel, but with the Dutch influence coming in as well, with Arne Slot, very, very important. I think Van Dijk renews. I think Trent renews for the long term. Van Dijk at least an additional 2 years. And Mo Salah. So this is a big talking point. Obviously, he's had that bust up with Jurgen Klopp. They actually shook hands before the little skerfuffle as well, whether it's because he's been subbed or something that Klopp said. It doesn't really matter. It happens in sport. It's passion. Everyone wants to win. Frustrations boil over. Get over it. No big deal there. The media love to overblow things. It doesn't really affect Liverpool now. There's no real thing up for grab for Liverpool. We'll probably end up third, might end up fourth, but we're in the Champions League for sure. So Arne Slot gets Champions League funds. Well, hey, Michael Edwards too, and Richard Hughes. People have got to give Richard Hughes some leeway and credit here, because he's actually going to do the director of football role here, not Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards is going to oversee it, but I'm sure we'll give him a few pointers if he needed them anyway. But we've got a good infrastructure there, so that's all good. We will have the budget in place, and I'm sure they will back Arne Slot, because they've got to make sure that their new signing, their new appointment looks good from the off. Give him the tools to do the job. Back to Mo Salah. Okay, he's had this kerfuffle. His contract expires next summer. The Saudi Arabia link still is there, right? 100 million. I don't think you're going to get 100 million for this Salah in this form. And they're going to use a different transfer strategy this season in the Saudi Arabian league, because they're not going to go for big name older players. They're going to look for young, youthful, exuberant players to grow the league. Do you remember Oscar from Chelsea going to the Chinese league? Obviously, law and legal barriers put that league to kaput, because they can't sign those foreign players anymore. So that league can't really do what it used to do. But Saudi Arabian league, they're going to target new up-and-coming players who want that dollar bill. I don't think Salah goes there this summer, because the transfer fee won't be enough to revamp Liverpool and give Liverpool the replacement for Mo Salah. I will come to replacements for Mo Salah in a different video. But when you're a new manager coming in, Arne Slot, you want the established pros who lead the dressing room, like Mo Salah, absolute model professional for however long he's been here, right? Exemplary. An absolute idol for the fans, the Egyptian king running down the wing, also a mentor to the likes of Harvey Elliott, to Ben Doak. Ben Doak might need to renew as well, because I think he's got 2 years left. Hopefully we see him overcome the injury as well. But I digress. Back to Mo Salah. I think he renews, because it's a new start on Arne Slot, a new methodology. Salah, after AFCON, usually is a bit out of form anyway, but it's the injury, it's the hamstring injury that's done him in this season and shown the inconsistency. So no, he hasn't always had the best shot anyway. He's got a kind of curved shot, isn't the most powerful shot, isn't the most accurate shot. But the good thing about Salah, and he won't lose this, is the fact that his number one attribute for every single season he's been at Liverpool is his off the ball running, decisive running into the right areas at the right time. And the fact that he gets those chances to miss them in the first place is more important than the fact that he misses them. The fact that he gets into areas to playmake as well, because in the right half space, he's actually done a lot of playmaking to release the ball into Núñez, to Lucho Diaz, who have scuffed the ball. Unfortunate with the finishing, but he's actually created a lot of opportunities which we haven't finished. His assist numbers would be right up there. His goal scoring is already right up there, even though he's been out of form for the last few weeks. A fit and firing Mo Salah coming back to form is absolutely upper echelons of world football, and he's still a relatively young 30s who keeps himself in prime condition. He's got a lot to offer still. I don't see a new manager coming in and getting rid of some of the most formidable, experienced, talented players in the squad. You need them as the core of your squad, and you need to build on top of solid foundations. It's going to be a big ask to replace Van Dijk. Definitely not happening. Trent is our Scou's heartbeat. It's not happening. He's going to stay. And Mo Salah is our Egyptian king, our highest goal scorer. Is he our highest assister as well? I think he is, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. You don't replace those goals overnight in one window. You need to create chemistry, create bonds, and build on top of what you have already. I think Mo Salah extends probably for 2 years. If it extends for 1 year, I would say that he's going next season. There will be an agreement for him to leave next season with some time left on his contract, not getting the highest fees, but a good enough output, a transition season, not a transition in the way that we can't win anything, but a transition season in the way that he'll give Arne Slot a chance, make a real impact. In the absence of Jurgen Klopp, Arne Slot will need these big, key, experienced players to make an impact. So the formation that Arne Slot plays, right, a variation of the 4-2-3-1 formation, which is very interesting because sometimes it is a single pivot with a number 8 that goes box to box, but offers offensively and defensively on the 8 position as well. And with the attacking midfielder, very, very interesting, back into the attacking midfield role, not the playmaker, not the number 10, attacking midfielder, almost perfect for Szoboszlai, for Fabio Carvalho, for Harvey Elliott, even McAllister can play here. Very, very promising as well. I think one key area that Liverpool will target is centre-back, central defence. Why? Okay, let's put in some names here. So Van Dijk absolutely starts at left side of centre-back, our captain. Now, first choice you would say is Konate, but lately Quansah's been coming in rotating with Konate for the fact that Konate can't keep fit regularly. If you play him too often, he comes down with these niggly injuries, which is really, really annoying, and he's a beast when on form. Konate is a little bit off form at the moment. Now, Joel Matip was very, very prominent here because he could break the lines, breaking through midfield, but when you're playing 2 in a slightly deeper position or 1 that transitions into that double pivot, you don't need Matip to push there so much unless you end up with the free pivot at the base with Trent, which we might look at later. However, Konate may or may not be first choice because of those injury hit performances coming and breaking his rhythm, really. Quansah is quality and up and coming, but he's still a youngster. That mistake, obviously, with Bruno Fernandes equalising for Man United completely threw off our rhythm, and on occasion as well, losing his marker. In the last game, you saw peeled off the back of him, planted a header in. It'll come with time. Quansah needs to look over the shoulder, needs to be more aware of his surroundings. He's very confident in his own techniques and his abilities on the ball as well, but positional awareness, that's something you can aim at Joe Gomez as well in this position, which is why Klopp hasn't actually played Gomez in centre-back position for quite a long time. Now, 2 centre-backs that I think will be moving on. Nat Phillips, it's finally time for him to move on. Thank you for all the efforts. A legendary picture of him and Reece Williams. Reece Williams will move on as well. Unsuccessful loan spells, potential attitude problem as well, don't know, but he'll move on. But one that's very interesting that will be coming back is Sepp van den Berg, the Dutchman, right? Now the Ginger Ninja, we kind of need a Ginger Ninja apart from McAllister in the right light to really bring home the bacon, that juice, that former glory of the Risa Rocket. We always had a ginger in the kind of squad. It's well known that the whole team plays well when you have a ginger in the squad, whether it's Lionel Messi, whether it's Paul Scholes, whether it's Risa. In these days it's McAllister, but McAllister, it's only McAllister under the right light, under the wrong light. He's brown-haired brunette, so yeah, we might need Sepp van den Berg in the squad, and let's see what Arne Slot could do with him, because high potential youngster as well, having a great loan spell out, very formidable, can play right back, can play centre back, quite tall, quite dominant in the air as well. Decent ball playing skills. He could be a good 4th, 5th choice option. Let's see who Arne Slot brings in. But I really, really think it's time for the left-sided centre back. Doesn't have to be left-footed, but left-sided centre back, because Quansah can play both sides. But I think Quansah and Konate on the right side probably cover that. But do you want a more experienced head than Quansah to come in or actually be first choice next to Virgil van Dijk? Because Van Dijk is definitely first choice. Still metrically amazingly highly ranked amongst all tiers of defenders, amongst all leagues, for headers, clearances, take-ons, even offensive chances. In our corners and set plays, we always look to Van Dijk. He usually makes something. He's really, really dominant in the air. He's still got the pace, got positional awareness and ball playing skills. Just somewhat passive in defensive, not front-footed, which is the right-sided defender. But I think we have a left-sided defender who can play right-sided on occasion as well. So many names available at the moment, right? Pacho seems to be one we're linked with. Adebayo at Fulham as well. Tapsoba, Diomande, Hincapié, Inacio. The common names have been bandied around, but actually there is a wealth of centre-back talent on the market at the moment. Antonio Silva at Benfica, Scalvini at Atalanta. We saw that firsthand. Riyad, who's on loan from Barcelona. Lukeba, we know about him as well. There's so much young talent in centre-back area, but you don't have to go for young talent. You could go for an experienced head to add that extra body, but they do count on the foreign list as well. So it's something to be aware of, because you have that foreigner limit, right? We need some homegrown talent as well. Levi Colwell has been bandied around. He's not going to leave Chelsea. Impossible. Don't look there. We could go for Braithwaite at Everton as well, but they won't really sell him to Liverpool. They have some financial compliance issues that they need to go with. I think before June, 30th of June, they need to sell possibly a highly rated youngster. It'll probably be going to Man United or something. They don't traditionally sell to Liverpool. But I think at least one centre-back will come in, if not 2, for the Arne Slot system, because he really likes the options that can consistently play week in, week out, and I don't know if Konate is the ultimate answer. Despite his qualities, despite his weebiness and love for anime and all things Japan, his bromance with Endo and the rest of the squad. Absolute character. We need him in the squad as well. Quanta's still relatively young. Jomez has been shifted out to the fullback position. Still is an option at centre-back, but maybe those days have passed him. We're going to get at least one centre-back, possibly two. But the other position that I think Arne Slot will really target is the wingers, right? Arne Slot loves him some wingers, because I love me some wingers as well. In the 4-2-3-1 formation, these wingers really facilitate a lot of what you do and a lot of what you do on the pitch. Because if the winger is having an off day, you need to sub in the winger, and you can't just have the winger who does the same thing over and over again. Mane could go around the outside but go inside, and Mane had that aggressive, ruthless power streak and really made an impact even when you least expect it until the final moment. Salah will always cut inside. He's highly ineffectual going around the outside. Elliott can go around the outside, but he's quite ineffectual there as well. He usually cuts in as well. We need a traditional right winger who can do the job on the right wing. Now, Lucho Diaz can do that, but then what about the left wing? Left wing leaves with Cody Gakpo, who cuts inside and crosses with the right foot, or shoots across as well. Nunez can actually go to the byline. It's quite effective with left foot, but he's one-dimensional. He's like a Cisse when we played him right wing. Nunez is a physical specimen who bombs down the left wing and crosses with left foot, or cuts inside and shoots across, okay? But it's not that out-and-out left winger who go down the byline and whip it in with the left foot. I really think Arne Slot would like all options. A wide playmaker like a Salah, and he could invert too as well. You don't have to have two of similar players, right? Like Salah cutting in and Mane cutting in. You can have a right-sided playmaker like Salah in half space there, and an out-and-out left winger who crosses the ball in. Kurevicella, fantastic. Pedro Neto, Kaoru Mitoma, Takefusa Kubo, lots and lots of wingers come to mind. Nico Williams. They're just the popular names, right? There's loads of up-and-coming ones like Johan Bakayoko and other ones as well. We'll get into a transfer video in a different video. But literally, I think Arne Slot would like an abundance of winger talent, because ultimately, supplying your striker with the right kind of balls to convert the chances into the Van Nistelrooy penalty area, fox in the box, predator striker like a Diogo Jota, and what Nunes could be if we give him the right service. Because you remember, at the start of the season, at the start of Nunes' tenure, you whip in a ball, he goes in and flicks it between his feet. He loves the ball in and behind and played in rapidly fast to him, so he doesn't have to think. He just reacts and gets the ball into net. And we haven't seen it enough. We've been trying to slide him through and hit the ball over the top, give him a time to think about what shot to take, and unfortunately, maybe he's not the most natural goal scorer, but I think he's effective as long as you thread him the right balls into right spaces where he can just hit it first time. That's the kind of winger I want that can make that exciting play happen. Ike Munyin, kind of playmaking left-sided winger back in the day. I love that short, diminutive winger who makes something happen. Takefusa Kubo could do that. Kurevicella is a fantastic talent, outstanding as well. Pedro Neto is very dribbly as well, but he's got injury niggles. Kaoru Mitoma coming off a bad injury, but he's very direct, very direct. He'll go right towards Nunes, put it right in front of him and says, Nunes, you can't possibly miss this, or shoot himself. So it's going to be a winger coming in. I'm fairly certain, at least a centre-back, at least a winger, and possibly a defensive midfielder. But here's where I am hesitant to say we need a defensive midfielder, because Wataru Endo is an absolute quality destroyer. Experience facilitates the players to go on to play, which is attacking midfielder, and actually Alexis McAllister to push on further. The reason why I don't think we need a defensive midfielder, because the plan always was for Endo to share the role with Bajcetic. Now, Bajcetic has been out for the season, but he's a hench. He's massive. Oh my God, I am massive. That kind of feel. And he's got the takers, and he's got the Spanish flair, and the cheekiness, and the confidence as well. Even though he can play 8, I think Bajcetic, Endo, and Tyler Morton, do not sleep on Tyler Morton. This kid at Hull is doing amazing things. His little bromance with Fabio Carvalho, he's dictating from deep. He's got techers in the offensive third as well. He's making things happen, taking pot shots, ball over the top, short balls over the top, curved balls. Fantastic player, real option for that role. And he's English as well, which means he's homegrown and he will have a place in the squad. I think he's ready. And then you got James McConnell and other players who can play at Jomez, played at 6th position as well. 6 isn't a harsh position in an Arne Slot team because he plays 2 deeper, which allows somewhat of a leeway to get away with not being the most pure out-and-out destroyer. You can be a ball player as well because you have the body there. And the attacking midfielder alongside one of the 8s can form the 4-3-3 formation as well. But additionally, because you have this box at the bottom here, instead of in your 3-box-3 formation where Trent inverts to the bottom there, what you have in this option here is a kind of pivot. So let's say, for example, right back goes very wide. You have this W formation, right? You have this left back pushing forward or right back pushing forward, doesn't matter which way. And in the end, you have those lines, those triangles, all the connections you need for build-up play and through passes is facilitated by having those two deep, right? Now, you'd probably imagine that Trent does it on the right-hand side, but the inversion is very, very interesting. This is why I want to bring your attention to a player currently at Feyenoord, Geertruida, right? Geertruida is predominantly a defensive player, right back. He can play centre-back, probably suited for centre-back as well. Plays defensive midfielder as well. He's a jack of all trades. Now, this is a kind of Grosskreutz at Dortmund. This is a kind of Milner, the utility, versatile player with defensive mind and responsible. Now, he's not as good on the ball as a Trent Alexander Arnold, but who is? But this is one of the key ploys of the Arne Slot Millennium Puzzle as the Egyptian god cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! No, I'm digressing again. Sorry, it's the weeb in me. So, where do you play Trent in the Arne Slot system? I am massively against Trent starting as a midfielder, and I've mentioned this many, many times for the fact that he's so easy to nullify and mark out of the game the higher you put him. You put him as a number 8 or number 6, and all the opposition coach needs to do is, this is the player of influence. If you sit a player on him, right, he hasn't got the space to wiggle away from a man marker, and he hasn't got the footwork or the ability to turn. He is better roaming into positions of influence with his vision going forwards, seeing the opportunities with the ball coming to him as a trigger point and hitting and releasing it. Ball at his feet, release it. If you want him as a back to goal, and it will be back to goal because you always sit as a player. Even me, with my tactical acumen, will say attacking midfielder, sit on Trent in number 6 position. Or if he's a number 8, okay, my left-sided 8 or my deep-lying playmaker or my anchorman, doesn't matter who, you sit on Trent, cut out an option or give him as an option but make him play back to goal. He's not going to turn you. He's not going to beat you for pace. He's not going to beat you for physicality, and he's not going to roulette shuffle you like Thiago. He's not going to do a 1-2 to get past you as well. You body him, you take him out of the game, you take out his influence. When he's in the right-back slot, he can receive it from deeper, right? Which means you're never going to push a left wing on for... You're never going to push your left winger up against Trent because that space in behind means this guy is out of the game. And Trent can obviously go behind the centre-back as well. You can't chase him into these positions. And if he's on that right-sided 8 position, Trent transitions into half space, which gives him the full vision of play to hit down to a Mo Salah, to hit in and behind to a Nunes, to a Lucho Diaz, to a Diogo Jota, to hit in and behind there as well. He can pivot into this position. This allows that box formation that we've always seen this season. And if he goes into that position, right, he's going to transition to that position. That player has to leave the space, which leaves space for the centre-back to provision and go up as well, right? Obviously covered by whoever you want. So from the right-back slot, Trent is super effective because he can push into the areas of influence, including the 8 slot here, and take your pot shots. Short cross that Jared Bowen did that scored against us the other night. Transition to the other side. In and behind for the right winger, in between the fullback and the centre-back as well. Go there to take a shot across goal, to smash it in from this position with 2 covering players as well. So, obviously, I brought Kanate there, but, you know, I'm talking about Trent. Right back is his position, but you've got to facilitate him by having a right-sided centre-back or right-sided 8 cover for him, or defensive midfielder cover for him pushing, and that's where Trent is most effective because that's where he's been most effective for the last few seasons. I do not think he starts as a defensive midfield player. He's definitely not better than Endo or McAllister in that deep lying role, just for the fact that they can turn a player and they have a bit more techers than him and have a bit more physicality than him. Okay, obviously his short passing game is worlds apart. McAllister's pretty good as well, but Trent is different gravy when it comes to the passing variety and range, but you're wasting him. You're wasting him in midfield as a starting midfielder. Now, Geertruida, coming back to him, also inverts. He inverts to the base, but acts as a body. He's been doing what Gomez does, right? The extra defensive shield to allow the player next to you to transition into a box or into the right half space, or depending on where he transitions into, allows an overload on the left-hand side, which makes a goal threat from the right-hand side. Geertruida would be the trusted utility player that comes in for Arne Slot, known quantity from the Dutch league, kind of like a Ji-Sung Park as well at Man United, very, very effective in the right game, right situation, and can do the movements that Trent does. But similarly, Gomez can do the movements that Trent does as well. So do you really need a Geertruida? Because the argument is, coming from an Eredivisie, right, it's a big jump to the Premier League. We've seen with Ten Hag's transfers, bringing them from the Eredivisie, it's very, very hit and miss whether the players land on their feet. Sometimes you want to bring them into the lower league clubs, like a Newcastle with Gini Wijnaldum, right, to see whether they sink or swim, bring them in to that kind of level, and if they perform well, they can make that adjustment. They've shown and proven their worth over a whole season, right? They are not injured due to intensity. They can play their normal game or adapt, like Gini Wijnaldum from attacking midfield winger into a jack of all trades midfield engine dynamo. then you paid a higher fee to bring in a known quantity. I think that's what they tried to do, right? Like Mateus Nunes, right? Over to Wolves, Liverpool were eyeing him up. Why didn't we bring him directly? And now he's moved to Man City because of the fact that Paqueta's deal from West Ham to Man City was blown up because of that gambling ordeal. Paqueta's a quality player, by the way. He's just got everything, really. Digress again. I'd like Paqueta for attacking midfield for Liverpool. Yes, please. No, he's probably more likely Man City bound. He's just their type of player, would really make them scary. I think coming from the Dutch league is a bit of an ask. Hanko as well, but is he really better than what you have? And an additional option he could be. He's a known quantity. Weaver as well at the base of the midfield, but he's not better than Endo, and he's not better than McAllister, and he'd take a spot that Bajcetic needs time to grow into, and Tyler Morton really can make an impact there as well. So I don't see the real talent from the Dutch league transitioning over. Now it'd be a lazy link for his old team Feyenoord players to come in, and for RZ players who he knows to come in, or for an Eredivisie to come in, or even Dutch players to come in. But how often has that really rung true? I go back to Valencia and Rafa Benitez. You want your Vicente, your Ruben Raja, your Albelda, right? Even one season Mister or whoever, right? Cisco ended up at Newcastle. He didn't really play that well. Attitude problems. We went for Momo Sissoko because he's a youngster with physicality. He could destroy the play. No one predicted that from Valencia, right? Eventually we went for Maurizio Pellegrino. Oh, that was funny. That old head bringing it in as well. I don't know. We have that kind of signing every now and again. Sotirios Kyriakos, the Greek god. No, we have a Greek god. Greek scouts. Tsimikas. Will Tsimikas stay? I don't know. Left back. He's quality left back. Re-signed as well. Him and Robertson, Trent and Conor Bradley, I think we're well suited in the fullback department, so we won't be bringing in players. I don't really see the need to bring in a player there, to be honest. And we have Karen Ramsey coming back as well at right back, and Jomez covering either side. It won't be a fullback. It'll be a centre back. It'll be a winger, and possibly a striker. I don't think it'll be a defensive midfielder for all the reasons. Possibly a striker if he wants a reliable goal scorer who's a good finisher, who may not have the physical attributes that Darwin Núñez has, right? But Cody Gakpo is predominantly going to be a left winger because he's a better left winger than striker, even though he's coming to form and playing well in striker as well. He's not a false nine. He's not a shadow striker. He can be a dummy runner, but it's more of a hybrid between the 10 and the striker. I think Cody Gakpo belongs on the left wing. It's Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez up front. But do you trust Jota's injury record throughout the course of the season? He was unlucky with that landing on his knee, bending his knee. Darwin Núñez, I think, will really enjoy a renaissance under Arne Slot, because Arne Slot is meticulous in the mental side of things to give him back his confidence. Darwin Núñez is a confidence player. I don't like the fact that Klopp has trained him out of the fire, the passion, the Latino heat design where he nutted the player, but he shows up, come on, and blah, going berserk. He's kind of calm-headed, and he really even calmed down Salah on the sideline as well, right? And obviously he's pressing a lot and using a lot of his energy. He's making great runs, but I like the Latino fire element. Just keep it controlled and no red card. But I think Darwin Núñez will come back to form. I have huge trust in Darwin Núñez because for all of his misses, and some of them were shocking misses, right? He has shown amazing glimpses of quality, and he's backed by the highest talented coaches in the world, right? Such as Bielsa, Luis Suarez backs him. Klopp saw enough to bring him in. He's been first choice for Liverpool for a long time, and he's still relatively young. He has time to come good as well. But you might want an extra reliable goal scorer who may not be your first choice. Unfortunate to say, but your Chicharito, your Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that kind of thing. Even Robbie Fowler, when Owen and Heskey were, the preferred pairing for Gerard Houllier. Just that reliable goal scorer who you bring him for certain games because if you make that one or two chances, they'll put it away, even though they won't create the multiple goal scoring opportunities or expected goal. I hate that expected goal outcome. The one or two chances that you do create, or the unorthodox chances you do create, you'll be backing them to score like your Diogo Jota in certain situations, right? Maybe you bring in that experienced head, that striker who can still do it, still cut it, because we do have some youngsters underneath like Jayden Danns who can come in for Darwin Núñez. I think Jayden Danns will have a bigger impact next season as well. But those youngsters just beyond the bench at the moment, the Kumas, the McConnell, the Bobby Clark, the Ben Doak, I think they will have a big impact. The Harvey Elliott and the Curtis Jones already established in the squad as well. I want them to take more responsibility, maybe in the attacking midfield role, but there you have Szoboszlai as well, right? I want to see these players' attributes come to the fore and really rely on them rather than relying on your Trent, give it to Trent. Van Dijk back and forth until he finds the opportunity to ping it. We've got to get Mo Salah into the half space. All these common traits you find in Jurgen Klopp team, that when a player is not outperforming their expected output and beating their player one-on-one in the system, that you really struggle with. I want to see a clear plan B, even a plan C, whether it's a target man who can bring that attacking midfield into play, laying it off for Lampard to smack it, laying it off for Bruno Fernandes to smack it, laying it off for our Sobosai to smack it. I want to see that, and then you all dart in going for potential rebound, right? I want to see variations in tactical play, because even though it's brought us so much success, the common trait of having a Lucho Diaz cutting inside, as Mo Salah cutting inside, Trent in the half space here or inverting to the base of midfield, forming the box, Robertson just bombing up and down, this being your facilitating midfielder, whether it's a Wijnaldum or Gravenberch or Curtis Jones, and this being your more kind of offensive midfielder who covers for Trent, right? It's the same patterns to play over and over again, and the definition of insanity is when it's not working, change it up, try something new, try something unexpected or different. And unfortunately, it's been stale in the last few weeks, and even in one of the games where, because of Gakpo attending the birth of his child, you know, what can you say, and the unfortunate injury to Jota, we had opportunity, right? Because it was Diaz, Nunez and Mo Salah. We had the opportunity to let Diaz be the right winger because he's been playing quite well recently. Have Nunez as the unorthodox left winger and Salah in the middle, which Klopp plays anyway late games. I don't know why he didn't start with that formation to cause a bit of chaos, a bit of unorthodox unpredictability, creating situations that the opposition don't expect. And even if our strikers don't expect the positions to get in, maybe they'll score more because they don't have the opportunity to miss, because their body don't remember the miss from muscle memory. They're in a new position, so hopefully they'll slot it away. You know what I mean. I tried to find the best snack that best represents Arne Slot, right? So he's got that bald head. It's quite prominent, you can't miss it, right? But it's not the smoothest bald head, right? It's not as smooth as you expect. It's not shiny and glimmering. So I bought this mango cream puff from 7-Eleven because you can see what I mean by the texture. And the mango cream inside, right? I'm hoping it's got a bit of spice, sourness, juiciness. A Miyazaki mango will set you back about 70 quid. No BS at all. Miyazaki mangoes are honeydew special, but it's so expensive. 70 quid is a cheap one. You could be talking 500 quid for bloody mango. Yeah, something special. I know that mangoes aren't so common in the UK compared to Asia, but yeah, let's give this mango cream puff a go. I'm hoping underneath that kind of rounded but a little bit bumpy head, is the oozy, tangy Dutch flair that you just don't expect, because he's well spoken, he's a bit of spice and zazz to him, and he has that plan B and is not afraid to go direct. And these two wingers aren't working, let's bring on the other two wingers. Oh, that's actually really good. What's that? Do you remember Jose Mourinho, right? Chelsea, Ian Robben, Damien Duff, Sean Wright-Phillips, Joe Cole. A plethora of wingers absolutely going gung-ho for your gut and smacking in the goals of playmaking. I want options of wings. I really want options of wings. Exciting, dribbly, jinky wingers who will come in and do something magical. We will talk about transfers. I think Liverpool should target for Arne Klopp's system. Over to you, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes. We'll do that in another video. For now, enjoy this mango puff. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm going to be starting a membership option for the YouTube channel. I think it's only going to be like £3 a month, a cup of coffee a month. If you enjoyed entertainment, I want you guys to help me shape the channel, give me ideas of the videos that you guys want to see. Guys, I really like to do the player rating videos and the pre-match analysis and the post-match reactions as well. But those videos actually have a half-life, because once that match is over, especially if we've lost, right, they don't actually garner many views on YouTube, and then it kills the amount of people that view the next YouTube video. However, I still want to make those. So if I'm late to those particular videos, I'm going to make them to members only, right? So there you still have access to all of the content if you want to see my post-match reactions, my thoughts, my ratings. And I rate the players based on off-the-ball contribution, their actual alignment to the function the coach wants, not just the eye test and, oh, he was shit, or he was crap, or he didn't do good in that role, or I didn't like what he did in that particular role. Because a lot of these ratings are really skewed in my eyes. They don't really reflect what that guy's role actually was in that team. So it's that kind of thing, right? And additionally, everything I earn goes back into the channel and back to Liverpool, because I use that money to buy Liverpool kits for my little kids. They are hardcore Liverpool fans, and I buy every kit and every merch available. So actually, the money you contribute to the channel not only help the channel grow, it'll go to Liverpool as well, because I want to buy the kits. I always buy the kits. I love me some merch. And in all honesty, your support and your love really keeps me motivated, really keeps me going and making good content as well. Additionally, a couple of weeks time, I'm going to be translating this book. I'm going to give you insight into what Endo is saying about the art of the defensive midfielder and the samurai soul. In addition to that, I'm going to be giving away lots of Japanese goodies, ramen, clothes, kimonos, goodie, weep goods, all that kind of jazz as well. I'm going to be doing exclusive videos, and the point is, with YouTube, the algorithm is very fickle. If I do topics that aren't really trendy at the moment, it kills the growth of the next video. So I can finally do the videos of the all-time great Liverpool 11s, my opinions, my most heartwarming moments of Igor Biscan, Vladimir Smica, Salif Diao, Milan Baroš, all the goodies. Also, all the books that I read as well, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic's books, down to Zito and Zico and Garincha. I've read all the books. Tostao, Falcao. I've read all, not that Falcao, the old Falcao. All the legendary names of the past, and additionally all the transfer news as well, and all the latest gossip, all the latest news. I always keep on top of all the latest Liverpool going on, so I can make short videos just like that on the phone, unedited, unfiltered. But most importantly, I can give you my opinion of all the Liverpool content creators, Redmen TV, Anfield Agenda, all those boys, all the Man United fans as well, Goldbridge, Asila Football, all the ones that you probably watch, right? I'll give you unfiltered, uncensored opinions only to the members. Hope you guys enjoyed this content. Make sure to smash a like in this video, help me get seen by the algorithm as well. Membership stuff will be coming very, very shortly. Thank you once again for all the support. This book is really, really good, by the way. I'm halfway through it. It's fantastic. You don't want to miss out. I really, really appreciate the insight into football and the depths he goes into and how to become a quality footballer. What you do day in, day out in training, and the difference between the Japanese mentality of approach to training and the worldwide view and the take on how to get yourself into the European leagues. And when opportunity comes, you take it. Till next time, Miyazaki Man, Ichiban. Janet.